Okay, physical games are going away. And I do not expect Sony to change their minds because they have said that they're not changing their mind. They are moving forward cautiously, and you just have to suck it up. So, I'm not going to complain. What are we going to do about it? Like, what am I going to do? So, what can we do, or what am I going to do as the consumer? I hope this helps you because I'm taking a few steps to sort of move forward in my gaming hobby. And as consumers, I think we kind of need to be a bit more cautious and like a bit more, strategic in the way we move regarding, purchasing games or being involved in our hobby generally. Personally, I would like the option of physical games to still remain within Xbox because Sony literally said they're not changing their minds. However, I think they are more digital than Sony at this point because if you look at just any game store in South Africa, there's BT Games. If you look at the amount of games for PlayStation versus Xbox, PlayStation has many more physical games than Xbox. That's just the facts of the matter in South Africa. Like, it's very difficult to find a store that has more Xbox games than PlayStation because I think it's just more digital at this point. So regarding that, I don't necessarily think Xbox is gonna be like, oh, let's give the gamers what they want. Give them physical still because they kind of like moved on the digital thing first, although a little bit more subtle than PlayStation. Um, so moving forward, I would think that as gamers we need to be a bit more strategic. For me personally, I've kind of started moving things over to PC. Like, I still do play on Xbox. I still do want to buy some games here because they are only available here. Gears of War 2 and Gears of War 3 are games that I really want because when I had my Xbox 360, I had those games. Well, Gears of War 2 I didn't have. I actually played it somewhere else. And then Gears of War 3 I bought because I love Gears of War 2 so much. And it was a really good game. I want that game. Right now, I have the first Gears of War. I'm playing through the Gears of War series. Gears of War E Day is coming, but I'm an Xbox One gamer, so I'm still in the previous generation. That's also a different story. I'll explain that later in the video. However, moving forward, there are still some games, I won't lie, that I still want to buy here, and I have started to move over to PC. Now, moving over to PC kind of feels a bit redundant because it's actually fully digital there. There are no physical games on PC. Like, nobody buys a physical game for PC. They buy games on Steam mostly. However, what's nice about PC is that there are multiple storefronts. Multiple storefronts means that they deal with games a bit differently. Steam, the most consumer friendly platform on PC, it it has high praise from a lot of gamers simply because of how they deal with customers, the reviews, basically everything, like the cheap prices of the games, basically everything regarding the user experience of Steam, people rate really highly, and it is the best platform to buy games on PC. They have a large library of games, and so people gravitate towards that more. Personally, I've started with the Steam account. I've bought one game, Man Eater. However, currently the PC I have doesn't necessarily have the specs to run it. So eventually, I'll get a PC that actually, takes care of that problem. But generally, on PC, since there are more storefronts, there is one storefront called GOG. Once I came across this storefront, I was like mind blown because literally it solves a problem that everybody's complaining about, which is having games online or online checks, DRM, things like that. GOG does none of that. You get the game files for yourself and you are able to play the game offline without any internet check-in, or you don't necessarily need any sort of third-party app to check in on your PC or whatever to play the game that you bought. You're able to take the files, move them to a different PC, and play them there. And you don't need to set your home PC. You don't need to set your primary PC. All of that, none of that exists. As long as you have the game files, it's yours. You bought the game, it's your game, files and everything, which is great. So that's why PC gaming is more attractive than console gaming right now. So consoles, if I buy one game on console, it is tied to my account on console. I can't take the files and move them to a different Xbox and then just play them, plug and play them just that easily. No, I need to do some authentication checks. I need to do all of that. And that kind of locks your games onto the console that you bought. Now, goes a step further is that the digital games that you buy, basically on Steam as well, you do not own the game. You just get a license to access the game. So that basically means that if some licensing agreement sort of, I don't know, like happens where the storefronts are not allowed to distribute those games, or they are supposed to take back those games, or whatever reason that they find to revoke a license for a game that you bought, they can do that. It's in the fine print on page 35 of whatever terms of service that you signed that you didn't know about. That's just how it is. So in a nutshell, that's just how digital media works. There are some things that I haven't dived deep into because that is a whole other legal area that I do not understand. So I'm gonna be very honest about that. So just for the purposes of owning your games, it's a license. That's all you need to know. So does that mean moving forward I'm gonna stop buying digital stuff? I don't think so, because literally moving over to PC, that's exactly what I'm doing. And right now on Xbox, there are some games that I want. Finding them physical is a nightmare in South Africa because here we don't have like a GameStop where they sell a bunch of games. Like BT Games is the the main one that I know about, and then there's other online storefronts, and even then finding the games that you want is difficult. So it's much easier to kind of like buy digital, and it's cheap on a sale digital. I can't refute that. Like it's a very attractive deal. So personally, there are some games that once I buy all the games that I bought on my Xbox account, I don't think I'll buy any more, and I'll continue to move over to Steam. So basically what I want to do is that I want to start getting a physical collection for my Xbox One, right? For the games that I truly value. And I've created an entire list for the games that I want. Like literally I spent an entire week trying to figure out exactly what I'm going to do. People at work were telling me, dude, stop stressing about this thing, bro. You'll still be able to have access to your games, this and the other. And personally, for me, I was like, but the physical games are gonna stop, so I need to get the physical games I want. Like I've always wanted to buy physical games again, but I never felt the urgency because there wasn't any at the time. Like I thought it would, still continue where physical games are a thing. However, no, it's not happening anymore. So generally, the majority of my games, I'm gonna buy on PC now. The games that are cross-platform, like let me see what game. Let's just say Doom 2016. Doom 2016 is on almost every platform, so I will get it on PC. And then if a game is only here, or like right now, I also want to finish out my Tomb Raider collection. Shadow of the Tomb Raider needs to be here. I'm gonna finish out my collections here, my Gears of War collections, Tomb Raider, Assassin's Creed. I'm gonna finish them out here. And then moving forward, PC is just, it seems like it's the best solution as is. But there could be some potential if Xbox does the right things. Xbox just needs to, they have a huge opportunity here, okay? Personally, for me, I play old games. The reason why I still have my Xbox One and I haven't moved over to an Xbox Series X or S is simply because I haven't played a lot of the games within the Xbox One generation. There is no one game on the Series X or S that is literally screaming out to me and say, you have to play me. No, like there isn't. Like there are so many games that I still want to play within this console generation. As I mentioned, there's Doom 2016, there's Ghost Recon that I want to play, Ghost Recon Wildlands. I have played it on Game Pass. I didn't necessarily like it. I want to give it another chance, but there are a lot of games here that I still want to push. So for now, there's no urgency for me to move over to an Xbox Series X or S. So that's why I've been on the Xbox One. Now, GTA 6 does kind of change that. It really does. It's Grand Theft Auto. I'm sorry. That's just it's the magnitude of the game. It's just too big to fail. Like that's the one game that I would buy on release. Now, personally, I haven't bought games on release for a very long time. So as I've said, I play old games. So Grand Theft Auto is the only game that I'm like, oh, I need to play this and I need a next gen console to do it. Now, it's not scheduled to be released on PC when the console release happens. So there's a waiting period that needs to happen there for me personally, if I'm like, since I'm moving over to PC. And I think I'm okay with that because as I've said, like I have a lot of games that I want to play here, so I'm kind of satisfied with this console generation for now still. So it's not a huge train smash for me personally. Now I understand a whole lot of like other people want to play the new release games, like simply because hey, the graphics are better, the gameplay is better, this, that, and the other. Yes, there are games that I want to play that are on next gen. I won't lie. Like Xbox Series X is, like, for example, Dragon Ball Sparking Zero. I really want to play that game. It's on the next generation consoles. So for me personally, even though I want to play that game, it's not necessarily a matter of urgency to play it. I can still play it maybe 2-3 years down the line, and hopefully it'll still be around, fingers crossed. But even if it isn't, and I'll try to snag it on Steam and just download it and keep it on my hard drive, and then when I have a proper hardware, I can then play it. So for me, three things that I'm basically moving forward with: buying the physical games that I've always wanted. Like, I'm not gonna turn into a massive collector, even though in the past few weeks I've been watching collectors talking about, oh, you need to get this game, you need to get that game because physical's drying out and whatnot. I've been freaking out, FOMO's kind of getting to me. But I want a few physical games that I'll keep in my, sort of mini collection of games. I don't want a massive collection, just, maybe a small one. And then secondly, I'll finish out my collections, the games that I still want on Xbox One, and just keep them on this system. And thirdly, most of my game library, I'm going to start out a PC game library where I am sort of, mostly I think the storefront that I want to buy from is GOG because it makes the most sense. Yes, I'll get Steam simply because there are more games on Steam. And the sales, they are crazy. They are so crazy. Right now, Ghost Recon Wildlands and Breakpoint, you can get both of them for $100. 100 rand, by the way, in South Africa, sorry. So that is crazy. That is so much good value for consumers. So I think I'll do that. So mostly the stuff I'm gonna be moving forward with is PC based. So how do you feel about gaming moving forward? Like, things are looking a bit shaky. So I want to know your impressions. Write down in the comments. I'll reply to every single comment. And because I really want to know exactly what you think. What are you gonna do moving forward? Are you gonna stay on console? Do you have a plan? Or are you just gonna move however things move and see where you end up? Or are you moving to a different platform? That is also an option. Or are you just gonna get both, as I'm doing? So there's a lot to talk about. So please comment, like the video if you like the video, and I'll catch you in the next one.